श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति शिरोमणि तुलसी महारानी की जय। प्रभुपाद ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक एंड प्रसाद डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। निताय गौ प्रेमानंद all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hey Gopi Janabalaba Girivara Dauri. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Shishi Radha Madhava Asta Saki ki jai. Chaitanya Chandradaya Mandir ki jai. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devyam Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we offer our obeisances unto Nara and Narayana, the supremmost human being, unto the author Vyasadeva, and unto the goddess of learning, Mother Saraswati. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 76, the battle between Shalva and the Vrishnis. And we're on text number, the text we'll come to today is number 24. Okay, first one with the purport. Okay, so read this closer. Sharairagni Arka Samsparshire. Sharairagni Arka Samsparshire. Ashi Vishva Durasadai. Pidyamana Puranikaha. Shalavo Muhat Pare Ritai. Boliye. Asi Vishvas Durasadai. Puyamana Puranikai. Shalvo. Shalvo Muya Pareritai. Sharairagni Arka Sangsparshire. Ashi Vishva Durasadai. Pidyamana Puranikaha. Salvo Muha Pareritai. Ladies, you chant. Yeah. Sarairagni Arka Sangsparshire. Ashi Vishvasdara Pidyamana Puranikaha Shalavo Muhya Pareritai Sharayahi by the arrows, Agni, like fire, Arka, and like the sun, Sangsparshai, whose contact, Ashi, of a snake, Visha, like the poison, Durasadai, intolerable, Pidyamana, distressed, Pura, whose aerial city, Anikai, and whose army, Shalva, Amuhyat, became bewildered. Para, by the enemy. Iritai, shot. Okay, so this is actually part of a continuing series. Of course, it's the whole story of Shalva, which to us it seems to occur because Maharaj Yudhisthira is hearing about, Sukadeva Goswami is hearing about the Rajasuya sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhisthira to glorify Krishna. And then Duryodhana was dissatisfied. Everybody else was dissatisfied. So Sukadeva Goswami explains why he was dissatisfied. And it wasn't exactly the Rajasuya sacrifice, it was the events a little bit after that, when he was embarrassed, right, in the palace. Okay. And then Shalva was also part of this crew that left when Shishupal got killed, afraid of getting bothered himself. And he was a great friend of Shishupal and had been very disturbed when Krishna stole Rukmini, okay? So going on here, and then we come to Salva began, he did austerities, and he got a benediction from Lord Shiva that he could have an iron airplane that would bother everybody, okay? Shalva besieged the city of Dwarka with a large army, O best of the Bharatas, decimating the outlying peaks and gardens. The mansions, along with their observatories, towering gateways, and surrounding walls. Also the public recreation areas. From his excellent airship, he threw down a torrent of weapons, including stones, tree trunks, thunderbolts, snakes, and hailstones. A fierce whirlwind arose and blanketed all directions with the dust. Thus, terribly tormented by the airship Shobha, Lord Krishna's city had no peace. O king, just like the earth when it was attacked by the 3 aerial cities of the demons. Seeing his subjects so harassed, the glorious and heroic Lord Pradyumna told them, "Do not fear," and mounted his chariot. The chief commanders of the chariot warriors, Satyaki, Charudeshna, Shamba, and Akrura, and his younger brothers, along with Hardikya, Bhanuvenda, Gada, Shuka, and Sharana, went out of the city with many other eminent bowmen, all girded in armor and protected by contingents of soldiers riding on chariots, elephants, and horses. Also by companies of infantry. A tumultuous, hair-raising battle then commenced between Shalva's forces and the Yadus. It equaled the great battles between the demigods and the demons. With his divine weapons, Pradyumna instantly destroyed all of Shalva's magic illusions, in the same way that the warm rays of the sun dissipate the darkness of night. Lord Pradyumna's arrows had golden shafts, iron heads, and perfectly smooth joints. With 25 of them, he struck down Shalva's commander-in-chief, Dhuman, and with 100 he struck Shalva himself. Then he pierced Shalva's officers, and with 1 arrow each, his chariot drivers. With 1 arrow, Then he pierced Shalva's officers with 1 arrow each. His chariot drivers with 10 arrows each, and his horses and other carriers with 3 arrows each. Okay. When they saw the glorious Pradyumna perform that amazing and mighty feat, all the soldiers on both sides praised him. In one moment, the magic airship built by Mayadanava appeared in many identical forms, and the next moment it was again only one. Sometimes it was visible and sometimes not. Thus Shalva's opponents could never be sure where he was. So, like looking at the military competition going on now, like United States and China. Now, Chinese have showed they have a missile which can destroy our aircraft carriers, and they're showing that they have counter astras to shoot it down. Yeah. And also, one of the things they do is the missile is being guided by some kind of electronic system, right? So exactly the same thing happens. Is all of a sudden, to the observation of the electronic guidance system, it appears like 5 or 6, aircraft carriers, and it doesn't know which one is the real one. Right? So if we can do this now, why not before? Yeah. Okay. Full technological warfare. But Krishna will win. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thus, Shalva's opponents could never be sure where it was. Kvachid bhumau, kvachid vyomni. From one moment to the next, the Shobha airship appeared on the earth, in the sky, or on a mountain peak, or in the water. Like a whirling, flaming baton, it never remained in one place. Huh? Whenever Shiva would appear in his Shobha ship, and his army, with his Shobha ship and his army, there the Yadu commanders would shoot their arrows. Shalva became bewildered upon seeing his army and Ariel city thus harassed by his enemies' arrows, which struck like fire, and the sun, and were as intolerable as snake venom. Purport. Today's verse. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that the arrows of the Yadu commanders burned like fire. Yeah, the arrows of the Yadu, struck simultaneously from all sides like the sun's rays, and like the snake venom were lethal by a single touch. Die. Okay. How does Sridhar Swami know this? Yeah. Oh. Okay. Haribol. Haribol. So any comments? Anybody has anything here? Anything else? Any thoughts? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. Huh?
You said how would he know it?
Oh, yeah.
I think he would know it because he's a pure channel.
Maybe. Yes, he's inspired. But also there are other Puranas that do talk about Krishna's pastimes and the Harivamsa and stuff like that. So maybe it's some other sources, or else it is inspired vision. Yeah. Commentators. Yeah. History of Srimad Bhagavatam. You accept the Srimad Bhagavatam as being absolute? You have some doubts? Prabhupada says doubts are a sign of intelligence. Until you find a source of absolute knowledge, then they're a sign of insincerity. Hridayananda Maharaj said that people say that Unitarians, it's one group, right? One church. People say a Unitarian is somebody who's looking for God and hopes he doesn't find him. Because if you do, yeah. So much, I'm looking for the truth, Prabhu. Yeah. So this is 10th canto. It's full of, and very little commentaries here. Probably Maharaj, Sri Dayananda Maharaj and Gopi Puranadana are including all the commentaries like that. Yeah. I mentioned the Catalogus Catalogorum before. Yeah. It's a maybe 20 years old, maybe. All the Indologists in the world, right? People who study India, where they are Indologists, Sanskritist, all these kind of people, right? Asian literature. There is so many Sanskrit literatures. They formed they started keeping a bibliography, of all known ancient Sanskrit texts. And I think how it worked was that different universities would take up the responsibility maybe for 5 years, then it would go to somebody else. So when it was last published, it had over 140,000 ancient Sanskrit texts. Oh, thank you. Wow, yeah. Over 140,000. So I mentioned this to my friend Dr. Samaresh Bandyopadhyay in India. He's very big Sanskritist, everything else, and he kind of chuckled, ho, ho, ho. He said, Hanuman Swami, there are over 100,000 uncatalogued texts just in Varanasi University alone. They're trying to preserve them like that and stuff, but even with the best techniques of preservation, they're disappearing. So Prabhupada actually suggested that we should go to all the different sampradayas and make copies of their literature and make our own library and use these for the basis like that. So some devotees, who was at Bharatapa and others, got a grant from the Smithsonian, Project Matsya, Save the Vedas. Yeah. And they went around taking pictures of all these things, but then they didn't know what to do with them, and they were on these microfilm rolls, stored like that. And then somebody thought for easier cataloging, he would cut them. So it all cut into pieces, and the project kind of like, floundered to some degree. But even still, definitely this is Prabhupada's idea to collect all this literature and so on. It's all there, disappearing, and encouraging devotees to study Sanskrit, again, according to your particular service needs and your ability, whatever is practical. When you're like, I forget what it is, something like 2 years old or something, 3 years old, you start to acquire one concept every 20 minutes. Table, chair, house, mommy, man, woman, dog, whatever it is, bowl, spoon, bad, good. So about every 20 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that, you're acquiring it. You're, forming a concept. Yeah, yeah. The first beginning is described, I think Madhvacharya is describing it, that the first level of consciousness is Anamaya. You know Anamaya? Say Anamritam Pao. Ana means grains or food. Yeah, yeah. So the first consciousness we're in, like as babies or something, is just eating. We try and put everything in our mouths, and the whole world is just for consuming, like that, consuming, And then some living entities go beyond that to the next level, which is pranamaya. So prana means life or spirit, like that. So pranamaya, you actually begin to realize that you exist, right? Before your realization was, I am the world, I and the world are one. In pranamaya, you begin to realize, no, I know, I'm more realized now. I am this body, okay, yeah. At this level, of course, if you try and give the kid a haircut, he screams and freaks out. World War III. He wants to see his fecal matter going down the toilet, like that. Fights with his brothers and sisters over whose jacket is this. Beginning to identify his body as separate from his clothes, although sometimes it's difficult. So 3 years old, pranamaya, 2 years old, the terrible twos. And looking at so many studies of reincarnation, other Tibetans and other groups, they stimulate us, and see what it is that we remember and stuff. Okay, and then these memories are there. If you wake up, you may have a very, very incredible dream or something, but unless you refresh it immediately, write it down, you'll see, pop, it's gone. And all you'll be able to remember is that you had a dream you wanted to remember. So if you refresh it, then to take it into like current memory. So many children have, previous life experiences, so many things. It's quite common, actually. And now it's scientifically acceptable to study it. Before it wasn't. So, until about maybe 2 years old, you can stimulate these memories and automobiles and stuff, and people talk about their previous life as children. So they can bring those memories in. But about 2 years old, 3 years old, you start to get locked into this world. It's like you're going into the movie theater, it's already started, you have your popcorn, you're looking for a seat, you're trying to watch the movie, you're getting your seat, and talking to people, excuse me, sit down, and then, locked in, and you forget everything else, right? Your body is in a controlled environment where you don't have to take care of it, like that, yeah. So about 2 or 3 years old, this happens, to most people, and so you forget your previous life. Some things maybe be there if they're really prominent, Okay, Anamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. A little girl can do that, but not a little boy. A little boy can do that, but not a little girl. Well, Americans can do that, but not we Chinese people. What else you got? Japanese can do that. Hunan can do that, but this is Manomaya. It's the mental life, I am American. I am Chinese. I'm from the South. Oh, what is this? Secret kung fu from the South. Like they have these whole cultural world you build up. Americans were calling British were calling all the American troops Yankees, and of course, if you're from Minnesota, or Mississippi or something like that, this was like insulting. It's the same way you call Irish people British, So but this is all manomaya. It's all mental dharma you created from the mind. And I'm a civilized person, everything else, And people realize this. Maslow and Jung are talking about this level. And most people, of course, they live and die in this level, a lot of people, But what's above this, the manomaya? Yeah, Jnanamaya. And this is Socrates, Confucius, wisdom traditions, always quoting Socrates said, not Socrates, probably he said the same thing, but Confucius said, when you go for revenge, better to dig 2 graves first. Understand, a grasshopper? Maybe better to forget and forgive, and be more careful next time, So there's so much wisdom. Who's from India? Who do we have who's giving all kinds of moral instructions and wisdom? Chanaka Pandit. What did Chanaka Pandit say? Anybody know? Any moral instructions? Oh. Oh my goodness. Wow. So you can Chanaka Pandit, he gives us advice. He says, Sarvabhauma Singh, he says, don't wake up somebody else's dog. Yeah, yeah. Another one is don't wake up an envious person. Yeah. So much advice. He says, 3 things meet with a rapid destruction. Trees on the bank of a river, because they all get washed away. A woman in the house of some man other than her husband, yeah, and kings without counselors. All 3 of these go to a quick destruction. Ooh, very nice. He said it's very, very difficult in this world, very rare to find a poor man who is completely honest and a beautiful young girl who is completely chaste. Yeah, okay, yeah. Chanaka Pandit says, my neighboring king is my competitor. My neighboring king's neighbor is my friend. You see that. The Kshatriyas, they have competitive nature, yeah. So this is, again, wisdom, and it takes us to Brahman, to universality. All men are brothers. The animals are also our brothers. Jnanamaya. And then? Vijnanamaya. It's mentioned sometimes like that. I was thinking about that. Which is really, this is full mukti, Jnani Vimukta, liberation. And then? Anandamaya. This is where we realize, the variety within the spiritual atmosphere and how to have a relationship with it. Yeah. And then our satisfaction is eternal when we're doing things, right? And ever expanding, which is natural. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So I forgot why I got in this topic, but but at this point, we're hearing all about Shalva and this kind of literature and stuff, and they were talking about the Bhagavatam. That's how I got on it. I was going to the bank. I was a brahmachari. I was the treasurer. I moved in. Okay, you be the treasurer. Okay, you can count. Okay. So then we are in Berkeley at those days. We were collecting about was it 100,000? Yeah, it was $100,000 a month. The Sankirtan devotees were going out and collecting that much. Now this is 1970, 77, before I probably left, probably 76. So with inflation, it's 86, 96, 2006. Well, this inflation is probably 4 times as much, at least, right? So that means we were collecting $400,000 a month, yeah. And it was based upon extremely passionate and even illicit, activities were going on like that. It wasn't natural, but boy, it was coming in. And I was the brahmachari, and I was the treasurer. I had these bags of coins were coming in. I had machines that would sort them, and they go around like that, and then they put them in bags and take them to the bank and everything else. So every day, practically speaking, I was going down 2 blocks down the street to the bank and coming in with bags of money like that. The first time I went in with a dhoti and kirtan on, and I'm coming in with bags of money, and all these people in line are looking at me, like that. Here's the Hare Krishna coming to the bank with bags of money, Okay. So I carry one of my brahmachari, civil dress, which is an old pair of pants with a piece of rope for a belt. Like that, I didn't have a belt. Yeah, okay. And so I got to know the people there, other things, And one lady, she was, a nice person, maybe like 30 or something, 25. So I was she asked a little bit about our culture, so I gave her the little Krishna book, those blue ones, kind of small, and on Friday then to read. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday, she said, "Oh, I read the whole thing. I love these Hindu myths," like that. And it says over and over again, Prabhupada said, these are not myths, But yeah, if you're reading that kind of mentality, what do you experience, And it seems like myths. Jarasandha attacked with 40 million soldiers. Krishna came out with 5 million. chopped off their arms, heads, hand, legs. There was blood everywhere. The heads looked like tortoises. The arms looked like snakes. The jewelry looked like some grass, you know. Balaram was becoming overly agitated by all this. He came out and created a flood of the blood. Okay, next story. It's like that. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Are these true? You believe these things? Do you believe that God is a giant red pig with a stick? Yeah, yeah. So Majjhimadhikari means that you come to the point where you have faith in the process, right? And because we do, Prabhupada says, 434, one of my most important citations, Tadvidi pranipattena pariprashnena sevaya. Just trying to understand the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. And so in the purport, Prabhupada says, blind faith and absurd inquiry are condemned. Yeah, blind faith is condemned. Not just that we kind of avoid it, but we just know. No. It's blasphemous. You know, God gives you enough knowledge. That's not the problem. The problem is whether or not we're going to apply it. Bhakti, faith, means that you know, you do what you know you should do. Right? Yeah, other traditions, religions, they have this big problem, the leap of faith, everything else. But for us, no, God's always, you know, you got more knowledge, you know, than you need, actually, you know. But the bhakti means, okay, I'm going to take this. You ask any human being, what does God want you to do? And if he's being honest, yeah, say, stop smoking, because we know. So you ask him, are you going to do it? And that's the bhakti. So you come back in 3 weeks, you ask him what happened. He said, I did it. It was hard, but I did it. What does God want you to do now? Find some church. Yeah, because you know, we're purified enough, the message gets through. Yeah. But are we going to do it? Right? I don't always do it. I start thinking, you know. Yeah, again. So different levels of development, right? Okay. So the initiation, Diksha, Arjuna takes initiation. He damned if you do and damned if you don't. If he fights the battle, he's damned, and if he doesn't fight it, he's damned. Okay, there's the choices here. Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Well, okay. Yeah. So he surrenders to Krishna. A very, 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 very famous verse. Anybody know the verse? When he surrenders, huh? All I know is the last line. Sisyas teham sadimam. Okay, word by word. Sisyas. Yeah. Disciple, yeah. Sisyas teham. Sadimam. Yes, sadimam. Please instruct me. I'm surrendered to you. So this is the position. Somehow or other, we really come to this position in the mode of goodness, not out of fear or out of desire. No, but really goodness, and we surrender, you know, to Krishna, right? Bona fide representative. Sisyas teham sadimam tvam prapanam. So Krishna says, okay, since you asked, sochayanam vasochastvam prajnavadam chabastashe agatums gatasums agatasums cha nanu sochanti panditaha. It's like two cops sitting in their car watching Friday night starting to take off, and you know they're going to have to deal with crazy drunks and all this kind of stuff, and they're just talking about stuff. And the guy starts talking all about philosophy and all this kind of stuff. So the other cop says, hey, rabbi. He's not a rabbi. Arjuna is not a pundit. Right? Pundit means somebody educated, peaceful, all these kind of things. Krishna says, hey, pundit. You know, he's chiding him. You're giving all these big speeches, but you don't understand the very first thing. Right? Yeah. So Arjuna surrendered, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have doubts. That's why he's surrendering, because he has doubts, but he's come into contact with a source that says, and he believes, can remove the doubts. Right? So it's a contract. As long as Krishna is removing the doubts, Arjuna is obligated to accept it. He can't present artificial doubts. That's the contract, okay? Doubts are the substance of our process here, right? But no cheating. no doubts being raised just to create smoke to avoid surrender. It appears that sometimes Arjuna kind of pushes that and, tries to artfully, Prabhupada says artfully, tries to artfully avoid, surrender like that. Perfect example. So that's our point. So Bhagavatam, all these things, God is a giant who had a pig with a stick, So many things come up. And so many questions. One time I was preaching in Lima, Peru, and we're talking about polygamy. And it came up, and they were talking about how actually it goes on there. There's this Catholic church, you can't get remarried. But some richer people, Vaishyas, economic people, their wife had given them 5 kids or something, and they didn't know. She didn't want any more of the business, okay, whatever. And so he would marry his secretary, divorce his wife, and the wife and the secretary wouldn't talk for 1 year, but he would maintain both families perfectly, and be affectionate, everything else. After 1 year, they would start talking. That was the thing, and then they would both get after him together. They would gang up on him, like that and stuff. Yeah. So it's polygamy, taking a second wife, taking care of both, and this first wife would never get remarried. Yeah, they're talking about how this is what goes on naturally among these classes. Okay, and so then one blonde, tall-haired girl, probably from Sweden or something, so many tourists in Lima, she said, okay, I can accept polygamy if you accept polyandria. What do you think polyandria is? Androids, androgens? Yeah, polygamia and polyandria. So what's your answer, Hare Krishna? Do we accept it? Do we accept polygamy? Very good point. Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure because, specifically, Draupadi wasn't going to accept it, right? Kunti said, well, whatever it is, share it equally. And Bhima said, it's a woman. Like that. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. But the Yudhishthira said, well, whatever our mother says, we accept as dharma. We accept whatever she does. That's our rule. And then Draupadi basically said, well, I don't care what your mama says. I'm not going to marry 5 guys. Okay, yeah. But she was attracted to them. And Yudhishthira said, adharma can never stay in my mind. This doesn't leave my mind. So finally, Yudhishthira quoted the example of the Prachetas, who all married the daughter of Pramlochan, like that, historically. And so Draupadi accepted, okay, there is precedent. Okay. And it was mystical, too. It was a very high-level thing. Yeah. Okay. But what's the problem? Why are we not inclined to polyandria? And she was saying, it's a legitimate question. It's like, what can you say? It's like, yeah. Talking to the microphone.
Because
Closer.
she has to please. It was very hard for Draupadi. Well, it was easy for her to please all the Pandavas, but
so I was reading when it comes to the story. This is a point thing. We have faith in the process. We have faith. Our doubts will be removed. Our big doubts are already gone, and it's going on every step, being more removed, so we become more dedicated based on knowledge, experience. Yeah? No, I know this works. Prasadam tastes bad. Hey, Baba, I've been living in the temple for 5 years, and it tastes good. Yeah. No, come on, you can't forget it. Go away. Yeah. So with the Prachetas, Prabhupada said the problem is that natural feminine mentality. You got a subtle body, male subtle body, female subtle body, is to be attached to one man. My daddy. Back off. This is my daddy. Yeah, this is my husband. I was amazed at how jealous women can be of their husband. It was like, wow. Okay. But it's part of reality. This is why reality goes on. Women are attached to babies. Men are attached to women. Okay. It's all very natural. It's a reflection of the spiritual world, like that. And so Draupadi, was she able to keep, if a wife cannot give equal affection to all the husbands, then what happens? There's naturally conflict, yeah. So was Draupadi able to do it? Was she giving equal affection to all the husbands? It appears they don't want to hear this.
so.
No, they don't want. It's becoming too intense for them. Yeah. No. She was giving more affection to, and it was comfortable. It was for her. It was just easy to, love Arjuna. You know? When she wanted to get something done, she lied. Oh, Bhima, nobody loves me but you. You know, nobody's taking care of you but me. So, please kill this guy for me. Okay, I'll kill him. You know, that. And it was a fair fight. A fair fight. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so even she wasn't able to do it, and she's very qualified. So we're saying, no, it's not impossible, you know, but this is a reality. But my point is, many times you have some argument, which is a reasonable argument and stuff, and you see Prabhupada's not unreasonable. Okay, I don't know, you know. But I know that the Shastras say, the Guru says, and I've always found out that they always have reasonable causes. Prabhupada says, no, what did he say? He said, Krishna never suggests anything unreasonable, right? If you want to check it out, you can come down to it. There's a reason, but there are certain reasons sometimes why we don't know. It's just, yeah, Draupadi couldn't know what she was going to cause to happen. Otherwise, she would have committed suicide. You know, I'm going to cause 600, you're going to cause 640 million men to die, right? So you know, you're going to, it's like, you can't handle a thing like that, you know? Yeah. So she didn't know her position in the pastime. Mother Yashoda doesn't know that Krishna is, you know, Jehovah, whoever he is, Allah, you know, like that. Like that. Sit down, Allah. Like that. You see this stick? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, like that. Haribol. Yeah, yeah. So this is the point. Madhyamadhikari comes this level. And then, yeah, Prabhupada said the Bhaktivedanta Institute, it was my inclination, was designed to make bridges to the scientists, but also to remove the doubts of the devotees and let them understand things from a scientific point of view. We're not opposed to science, it's just how to connect it to Krishna and how, you know, not to connect it to Krishna. We're not opposed to tobacco. Tobacco is very good for bruises, but God never intended for us to smoke the stuff like that. Yeah, no, bruises. Sucks it out. Very good. Tobacco. Yeah, yeah. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, I'll finish this point off because in 3 minutes I'm supposed to join the Board of Examiners weekly meeting. We're trying to design the curriculum. The Catalogus Catalogorum lists 140,000 ancient Sanskrit texts. It has a whole section for commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. Most of the Puranas don't have commentaries. Srimad Bhagavatam has about 140 major commentaries. I guess Prabhupada would count as one of those. Jiva Goswami, what else we got? Madhvacharya, Sridhar Swami, not Madhvacharya. Madhvacharya doesn't comment on everything, therefore it's not considered the first commentary, even though it's older. Yeah. And after that comes the Skanda Purana with 70 commentaries, and most don't have any at all. So even from the viewpoint of people who know the Vedas and Puranas, Srimad Bhagavatam stands out. Everybody tries to prove that Srimad Bhagavatam supports their case. Srimad Bhagavatam definitely proves that we are all God. I mean, Shankaracharya's followers try to do that, but Shankaracharya didn't do it because it's really stupid. It's really obvious. So I thank you all very much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. And I've told if there's any questions that Sarvabhauma will answer them all. Jai.
In the Mahabharata, when Draupadi was going to marry the 5 brothers, Narada Muni warned her of some possible problem. He told the story of these 2 demons, I think Sunda and Upasunda, who fell in love with one Tilottama, very beautiful girl, and then they fought each other and they each killed each other. So Narada Muni told Draupadi this story, saying you have to try to keep peace between the brothers, and he gave some guidelines that she should see one brother at a time for some time period and not, you know, some kind of equal sharing of time with her and so forth. I forget.
asking you because he asked you to ask you.
What?
Illusory energy and magic are same?
And magic is, I don't know. Can you comment on? He's asking about illusory energy. Oh. There's Maya. There's different kinds of illusion. There's Maya, the main illusory power in the material world that Durga Devi is in charge of. And there's another kind of Maya called Yoga Maya, which Krishna and his devotees are under this illusion, which is facilitates pure devotional service. And there's a type of magic which Prabhu is referring to that Shalva employs as a demon. And I don't know where that falls in. It's some part of Mahamaya. Because it's not. Some of these demons are have mystical powers. So Shalva had this airship that could disappear and appear in one another's place, and he, as we'll read later, he tried to bewilder Krishna by making some magical appearance of Krishna's father, and Shalva tried to make it look like he killed Krishna's father. So there's different kinds of magic that demons have, but I guess I would say it's part of Mahamaya, but I don't know so much details about it.